Recently, our President Joe Biden said the main threat to America is white supremacy, pretty much negating all other threats that are very serious to the way Americans live their lives. But now, thanks to Joe Biden, it is the white man that is the threat that we need to fear. In other words, me and men like me with white skin. So what is this white supremacy? Well, here's the definition. White supremacy, the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups. From my past experience of a man planted firmly on the ground, digging ditches, or the hundreds of dirty jobs I've done in my lifetime, getting my hands dirty and never once thinking I was better than anyone else, or any other thoughts that I was superior to anyone else. But I will tell you, there were hundreds of thousands of times I thought I was not good enough, not smart enough, tall enough, attractive enough, rich enough, hell rich enough, when the dollars I made didn't go very far. And I was just struggling for a life where you had a little money in your pocket and did not feel like you were a poor loser. Yeah, being poor as a white man is not an option. There is no excuse for being lazy and having the label white trash. In other words, garbage. So needless to say, I took being called out as a white supremacist personally, like being placed on a wanted poster for crimes I never committed. But as I reflect on the definition of white supremacy and Joe Biden's words, I realize we don't need to fear fellow Americans regardless of the color of their skin. We need to fear supremacy. Superior elites that should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of all other groups that do not believe as they do. Is this not Joe Biden and the political house of the Democratic Party? That being said, the Democratic Party is clearly not for us, the common man and woman. They do not feel our pain when our offshore bank account has a negative balance because we are out of money till the next payday. So let me go on with my own personal rant because I now have a wanted poster with my white mug being the face of white supremacy, the most hated man in America, known as the white supremacist. President Joe Biden has made the white supremacist man public enemy number one, not terrorists or drug cartels, child traffickers, murderers, rapists, or the hundreds of other criminals in America. In my personal life statement, I've been called many things, and some rightfully deserved. But as an American, I have never felt superior to anyone, nor would I believe in any of this bullshit. Regardless of what the media, Hollywood, and the current administration believe, that white men are evil and white supremacy is the number one issue that affects the country. These are the same people who believe January 6th was the worst day of our democracy has ever experienced, which is the biggest pile of bullshit many Americans have bought into also. You were told a story, a lie. But look at the video and you will see a bunch of foolish, party-minded Americans running through Congress. And technically, that is their house, bought and paid for by the American taxpayer. Adam Schiff has labeled this as a day that the American system of government was under attack, and our system of government was almost taken over. Adam Schiff, fearful and opportunistic. In creating fear in America, or a bunch of Americans, male, female, unarmed, and more than likely had a little too much to drink, thinking going into the Capitol building was a good idea. These people could do no more damage to our freedom, our country, or our Constitution than a flock of birds. Our democracy is built on we the people. It is our freedom, our blood. It is give me liberty or death, is what true Americans believe. Americans understand the price of freedom, and our way of life was paid for with the blood of Americans. Many of us know this, but many of us have forgotten or failed to understand the price that will always be paid for freedom. Adam Schiff and his band of brothers are nothing but bad actors, aligned with the media, creating delusion. If you buy into this, you ignore our history. The events of World War II and 9/11 alone make January 6th nothing but a bunch of people being stupid, and it costs the life of one person, an unarmed woman, shot coming through a window. There are things that are happening in America that are destroying your way of life, destroying society and the innocence of our children. America, open your eyes to the lies and the deception that is put out to blind you from the truth. So now that I'm a wanted man as a white supremacist, all because of my white skin, in which, may I say, in self-defense, I had nothing to do with. But what I do know is judging a person by the color of their skin is racist. Unless you're Joe Biden, who has a history of defining people by the color of their skin. To say what the president is pushing into the minds of Americans about white men has pissed me off is an understatement. But it does not come close to something he said a couple of years ago. This was the ultimate WTF moment that still makes my blood boil. And frankly, I have not gotten over it. This is what was said by Mr. Biden. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. If that's not white supremacy, then I don't know what the hell is. Maybe he just misspoke. But who in their right mind would say this? Especially a white man saying this to a black man. Remember what I said earlier about groups that think they are superior to everyone who's not a part of their belief? I've always said a person who points a finger at others and labels them a racist, white supremacist, bigot, hater, is in fact deflecting from who they truly are. They are getting you to believe who they say they are instead of who they really are. This is our Democratic Party. And they speak to us and treat us like we are children with no idea how to live, work, and control our lives. It is them, the people in the government, that knows what is best for us. And it is them who instructs us how to live, because they are elite rulers that are superior to all of us, the American people. Throughout history, leaders have tried to control the way people think with their agendas that ended with death and destruction. Humans are not sheep to be controlled and led to slaughter. In closing, I want to say, God created all of us equal in heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And never, ever think otherwise. I'm Harley Ryder, focused on America.